in mind.
Merci. Enfin, dernier orateur pour le...
Final speaker for the ALDE group is Calvet Chambon.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Monsieur le Commissaire.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. And congratulations on producing this package, which is clearly a step in the right direction. Of course, it's always a policy of the small steps, but small step at a time has taken us a long way, even if it's not enough in itself. I'll try to be as brief as possible. Last but not least, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I'll try to be quick, and therefore I might be quite to the point. First of all, you were saying that we needed to have a higher level ambition than the OECD. Now, why are financial companies not concerned? We could perhaps think about that in Europe. Then you talked about Liechtenstein. Well, of course, by implication, Switzerland and Monaco. Have you got anything to say about the internal tax havens? But there's the Canaries, there's Gibraltar right near me. There are some very small member states one might consider. So do you have any thinking on that for the future? Then what do you think we should do in order to enhance our credibility with the electorate, because we're losing credibility here every day? Then in terms of tax evasion, would it not be more effective and more equitable to look at the special consultative legislative procedure and make the Parliament a co-legislature? That would enhance the credibility of the whole process in the eyes of public opinion, I think. And then finally, even if Madame Joly has had to leave us, I've heard talk over many years of harmonisation of tax bases, even in ECOSOC 20 years ago. And when are we going to do this? Because there are some gaping holes in our arsenal there that we need to rectify that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for your very to-the-point questions. It's very refreshing, but it's also instructive and helpful. First of all, on the OECD relationship, when I say we need to be more ambitious than they do, I mean on this. I mean, of course, we have the internal market, and in this area we need to be more ambitious, but I'm not talking about embarking on completely new territory. When you talk about finance companies, this is not the first time that we haven't had a technical solution from the OECD. We've had to resolve the technical matters. We've had a kind of blueprint in place from there. Now, it may be a policy of taking small steps, but this won't be the last one. There will be many more. And slowly does it often. We will find answers to some of the outstanding questions and the issues with the bigger companies in due course. Internal tax havens, well, that's not the terminology we use. We don't recognise tax havens within the European Union as being in existence. There are different fiscal policies. Everybody has their own view on this, depending on the countries. We would not condone a failure to pay tax. I said to the Dutch press, well, we're not going to impose a change to 12.5% tax rates. We respect national sovereignty, but we want to have a coherent framework. And we have exchanged information on a lot of these issues. We have sought to come to agreements with a number of countries in Europe, which are not in the European Union. We trade extensively with quite a number of them. And Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Andorra, as you mentioned, are cases in point. We have a lot of trade with San Marino, Monaco, for example. These are other partners with which we've had a lot of discussion. And I think, honestly, we have managed to bring banking secrecy to an end through our discussions with them. I think it doesn't exist anymore, and that's been a good piece of work. Well done. I've taken on board your wish to involve the Parliament. As a co-legislature, we need to respect the treaties, would be my answer there. And then finally, harmonisation of the tax base. You will know, I'm sure, that this is something that's been looked at through the Access Directive. There has been no agreement on the Access Directive in the Council, but we're going to try to relaunch that this year. There has been no agreement in Council hitherto, but I think this is an excellent instrument for tackling tax evasion in the internal market. And I therefore would like to think that whilst we need to respect the prerogatives of the member states in terms of company law, there are many who want to harmonise corporate tax base. And I think that whilst we don't want to go beyond anybody's red lines, there's a lot that we could do in terms of having a common corporate tax base. And I think that that would stop the transfer of profits and improper declaration. And I think that we could also deal effectively with some of the aggressive tax planning issues. Harmonising rates isn't going to eradicate all these improper practices, and it is going to take time, and it is going to be a softly approach. But I'm sure we will have plenty of opportunities to discuss this in the future, and I promise I will be back to you with a new Access project before the end of the year. I think it will be very ambitious, and I'm sure it will be adopted. Thank you.